of the Open second 15 game on Ross Oval. Congratulations to Churchy and also to the Nudgee boys on a terrific game of rugby. We welcome all our guests here today from Anglican Church Grammar School, and we especially welcome those members of the St Joseph's Nudgee College community who have been supporting us throughout this season. After the teams enter the field today, we will be observing a minute's silence in honour of a Nudgee College old boy. But just a moment to pause to remember that gentleman after the teams have entered the field for the first 15 games. Throughout today, we thank all our student spectators who have observed the GPS protocol of remaining outside of the roped area. Any tunnels will take place outside of the roped area. The playing area being reserved for players, coaches and officials. Thank all of our officials who have done such a tremendous job today in making sure that our games were officiated. The teams today for the first 15th game. 30, 1, Charlie Brennan. Hooker, Zach Crobbers. Prop, JP Domenico. Lock, Greg Butel. Lock, Will McPherson. Flanker, Angus Ogilvie. Flanker, Tom Hughes. Number 8, Jack Slack. Halfback, George Tarabay. Fly half, Charlie Howard. Wing, Sam Richardson. Centre, Greg Wine Brown. Centre, Tristan Stanhope. Wing, Jacob Mullen. Fullback, Finlay Hume. Our coaches for the Churchy first 15, Michael Lucas, Dino Costin, and the manager, Neil Holman. Nudgee College first 15. Prop, Harry Vella. Hooker, Tom Ford. Prop, Francis Sayasi. Lock, Cal Manu. Lock, Darcy Chostakowski. Flanker, Ethan Bullimore. Flanker, Hayden Mosley. Number 8, Bailey Tautang. Halfback and captain, Phoenix Hunt. Fly half, Rashaan Pasatoa. Wing, Ethan Robbins. Centre, Joseph Small. Centre, Tom Blackmore. Wing, Ryan Shepherd. And fullback, Jangala Bennett. The coaches of the Nudgee College first 15, Jared Alexander, Ben Ralston, Andrew Scottney, and manager Neil Poppleton.
and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to round 7 of the Queensland GPS First 15 Rugby competition. For the second week in a row, we'll be coming to you live from the Nudgee College's Ross Oval. And I say it every week, it's a beautiful day, but when am I wrong? My name is Iktar Abneezer, and joining me after an extended absence, Marty Lippiard. Welcome back to GPS Rugby, mate.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Nick. It's been a few weeks between drinks for me when it comes to Jeeps. Obviously, with QPR rounding up last week, a good win for the Red Heavies, but I'm very excited to be here.
And an even better win for the Red Heavies in third grade, I hear, Marty.
Oh yeah, we did well. We got there, but it's not about who wins and loses. It's about the game. And I'm gonna segue back to us here. Nudgee v Churchy, Nick. Who are you picking?
Well, I don't want to pick just yet because I think it's a really interesting matchup. Lots of great little head-to-heads all across the field. We'll get to them in a second. I think first up, of course, as always, we're going to go back to the round that was and recap some of those results. And so this round last week, Nudgee College versus BBC, stealing the win with a late penalty goal. This try here doing some real damage to BBC's title aspirations and, in fact, putting them out of the chase.
It's going to haunt them, Nick.
And now State High, great try here, little break, setting up Jordan Patea. He'll go for a run here, setting up Kahu Rangi Tema on the outside. And a wonderful try. State High playing some great footy. And there he goes down there, 42-12 over Ipswich Grammar. And then down on the Gold Coast, the front runners at this point, Southport School, maxed out, putting on some footwork and racing away from the Brisbane Grammar defence.
Yeah. Absolutely good stuff there, Nick. It really looks like they blew the back end of that game open. 55 points to 12. That's not a quiet score.
No, not at all. And then to today's matchup, Churchy, Dre Siasi Brown chasing down this kick, it looks like. Richardson now chasing down and going to score a big upset win, actually, 32-21 over Toowoomba Grammar School. Not many people would have expected that.
Obviously, you know, it's a big win going all the way up the range, Nick. It's a big drive for anyone. I reckon if I had to pick one of my favourite parts of the Jeeps, you know, of the venues, I reckon Toowoomba would be up there with grounds to go to.
Yeah, in terms of natural amphitheatres, you don't get much better than that. Ross Oval has to be up there as well. Surely one of the best spectator grounds across the Brisbane GPS competition. Looking across the rounds now, I guess we're going to look at the table next. And here we go, the Southport School tied with Nudgee College at this point, but with a bye in hand. Nudgee are undefeated, and we'll look to stay that way heading into next week's huge clash with Southport.
You know, one thing it's really that draws my attention there, it's the difference between the Southport School and Nudgee, Nick. 115 plays 53 for the points difference. Now, we're a fair way into the season with 3 rounds to go, including today. That point difference there, that's a bit alarming for me, and I think the Nudgee College, they want to try to clean that number up a little bit. Yeah,
of course, Nudgee College only getting 1 or 2 sort of handy wins throughout the season. A big win over BGS, 46-12 in round 2, and another over Ipswich, 41-28 in round 5. That's really where that points differential comes from. Otherwise, it's all been very, very tight across the season for Nudgee College.
Well, you know, in the recent history, I think Churchy as a whole, Nick, I think they're doing a lot better than they were last year. And I think they're going to come into this game with some good form. And, you know, I've spoken to certain people, maybe the referee of today, maybe not. And he kind of agrees with me that, you know, I think it's fair to say we're going to see a lot of forwards-orientated play coming from Churchy. But Nudgee, how strong are they outside the number 10 position?
Yeah, some absolutely fantastic finishing talent. Ethan Robbins was just named in the Queensland under-16 side just last night. He's one to watch on that left wing. And Jungler Bennett as well, one of the competition's real stars at fullback. Now, I guess we'll go into the teams, Marty. The home team, I'll take that one first, if you don't mind.
Go for gold, mate.
Beautiful, mate. Number 1 for Nudgee College, Harry Vella. Number 2, Tom Ford. Number 3, Francis Siausi. In the second row, 1 change for Nudgee College. Darcy Shostakowski comes in for the injured Matt Engelbrecht. He'll join Cal Manu in the second row. In the back row, Ethan Bollymore, Hayden Mosley, and Bailey Tautau, an unchanged back row. In the halves, Phoenix Hunt, the captain, and Rikshan Pasitoa. On the wings, Ethan Robbins and Ryan Shepherd. In the centres, Joe Small and Tom Blackmore. And rounding out the team at fullback is Jungler Bennett, coached by, of course, Jared Alexander.
Oh, thank you very much, Nick. And when we go across, it's the visitors. They will be donning the blue and grey this afternoon. We're talking other than Churchy. Let's run them through from the front row. We have Charles Brandon and JP Tomaninko. On the props at hooker, we have Zach Crothers. In second row, Fred Fertrell and Will McPherson. On the flankers, we've got Angus Oglev and Tom Hughes. At number 8, Jack Slack. At halfback is George Tarabay. At number 10, 5'8", Charlie Howard. On the wings, Sam Richardson. and Jacob Mullen in the centres. Dre Sialsi and captain today in the number 13 jersey, Tristan Stagan. And at fullback, it's Finn Hume, and they're coached by none other than Michael Lucas. Now, there's a fair few big names there, especially when it comes to Queensland schoolboys, Nick. I think we're going to be in for a real battle here, and I'm really looking forward to watching how both teams are going to try to pull the game into their advantage. You know, I talked about it before. Nudgee, they're going to be looking to hit wide, hit up through the centres in the back line. Churchy, they're going to. I don't think it went unnoticed that last week Nudgee's completion rate in those lineouts wasn't too great.
No, especially Churchy's one area where they really excel in that defensive lineout. Fred Futrell especially, a very talented lineout jumper. And that'll be a real area where Churchy will look to attack this Nudgee team. Looking at the conditions now, Marty, it's a sunny day. You might be able to just tell that through the camera stream. And a little bit windy, but not quite as windy as last week, 18 kilometres an hour. Well,
one of the big things, I think the reason we get these lovely clear skies, we've had a bit of southerly over the last few days. A little bit more of a bite in the air, but I think it's what makes this time of the year just so perfect for rugby.
Looking across the teams now, a couple of big names standing out to me, Marty, particularly the matchup between the two captains today, both Australian schoolboys in Tristan Stangen from Churchy and Phoenix Hunt from Nudgee College. And looking across, I mentioned a bit earlier, the Queensland Under-16s were named on Friday night. A number of boys from both teams getting involved in that squad. Looking across Nudgee, Harry Vella, loosehead prop, Ethan Robbins on that left wing, and Rishan Pasatoa named to the first Queensland Under-16 team. Cal Manu and the injured centre Josh Fluke in the Queensland B from Churchy. Dre Siasi Brown and Zach Crothers and coach Michael Lucas have all been involved in that Queensland Under-16 B squad.
Yeah, and we're looking at some other stats, Nick. We're coming up. We look at the recent history here, and we look at, the last 5 years of competition. Nudgee have got a pretty good track record. They're averaging about 30 points to 10 in every encounter that we've seen across the last 5 years. I just really hope we're going to see, that gap close a bit today. If not, even Churchy, might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and they might get up against Nudgee because, Nudgee, they're in top form, but haven't really put a team to the sword heavily this year, and that might be their undoing today.
Well, Churchy won 3 games in a row against Nudgee in 2013, 2014, and 2015. So they did, they had the wood on Nudgee at one point. They lost that, of course, last year with a 38-8 loss in 2016.
But it seems to be really, it's either one way or the other. It's either one team is there strong, or the other team is there strong. I don't think we've seen the last 5 years, it's fair to say, a tight competition where it's come down here, say last week with BBC and Nudgee, right down the line. There's been a few of those games this year with some of those front-running teams. We just haven't seen that yet. And I'm going to be pretty excited because I want to see Churchy really stick to Nudgee today and try to close that gap. Let's have a look.
As Churchy now well supported, always a vocal crowd of support and passionate following that Churchy's accrued over the many years, the 99 years they've competed in the Queensland GPS First 15 rugby competition.
Geez, Nick, this tunnel's that long from Churchy, it's almost like a warm-up run for them. It's about 70 metres long coming in from the southern end of the field. And over Nudgee, obviously, they've got the iconic Eastern stand in front of where we're from right now, and it's just packed to the rafters as well.
Yeah, not the easiest place in the world to find a car park. Lots of support around.
I'm in a jungle somewhere.
And now we think they're being summoned onto the field, but we can't tell for sure.
I don't think the guys this far up the tunnel even are too sure. It's like Chinese whispers but clapping, and they're just, they've started, so we'll start.
Speed of sound.
Go Churchy!
As across the Ross Oval stand, packed to the rafters, full of Nudgee College supporters. And they finally arrive, led out by their captain, outside centre and Australian schoolboy Tristan Stangen in that white headgear. And they've kept Nudgee waiting on their home deck.
All right, it looks like it begins, Nick. Things are definitely ebbing up. It's a huge rush for the boys to get back to get their seats.
The absolute stampede. And some of them moving faster than the boys through the tunnel.
It was a pretty long tunnel, Nick. I would have had to take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we
And so the
pause,
teams finally meet.
pay tribute to Nudgee College old boy. Please stand and join us now in a minute's silence in honour of Andrew's life.
And a minute's silence observed there for the loss of a Nudgee College great, the captain of the 1997 First 15. But our focus turns to today's match, 2017. Can Churchy wrestle back the lead in the last 5 years?
Well, big task ahead of the visiting side there, Nick. Nudgee College, 5-0. Churchy, they're 2-3, so definitely the underdogs going into this bout. It's going to be a big task ahead of them, and obviously they do have the kick-off, so let's see what they can do with it.
Charlie Howard will take responsibility for getting us underway. And that's over in round 7 of the Queensland GPS First 15 rugby competition. Nudgee College with forwards split either side of the field, and Churchy will go high. And it's scrappy at the back, taken there by Blackmore. Getting his bend on. And take down supporting Rives.
Wasn't the cleanest restart there for Nudgee, Nick, but they've got the ball now, and there's a kick for exit, but they did take it back into their 22.
Pasitoa, long kick, finding grass at the back, and now it's up to Churchy to return.
It looks like they're linking up, Nick.
Finn Hume or Jacob Mullen, one of the two. As Tarabay finds hold back at the base of the ruck. And taking the hit up, Churchy getting their rumble on. As Futural now. Met firmly by the debutant, Darcy Shostakowski.
Oh, that was dangerous play there from Churchy, Nick. They just left that ball unattended. They've really got to make sure they seal it up and protect it at the breakdown.
And Churchy will go into their pick and drive. It's worked so well for them before this season. Both of their wins coming off pick and drives. Great pick and drive performances. Jack Slack there. And a little box kick from Tarabay. No man's land. No one's going up for it. It's another miss. And Churchy will get in position there. 110 metres on the kick. Tarabay marshalling his forwards. And a hit up there. McPherson. Back into the ruck. Well, we're into our second minute and there's no shortage of physicality here. Jack Slack. Scrappy at the back and a penalty. Ends in the ruck.
That's really going to hurt them, Nick. I think you can feel the wind even when we're sitting, but the wind's strongly coming over the Nudgee boys' right shoulder. So it's going to be a hard first half kicking into the wind for Churchy. And we saw that with that box kick that Tarabay put up just before. Kind of went up and no one knew where it was going to go. So I think this wind's going to play an important factor in this game.
And now we head towards our first line out of the match. A real hotly contested area we predict this will be. Zach Crothers, an under-16 rep for Queensland, Throws up tall and finds McPherson. And now Howard to midfield. Slack to Domenico.
Lost ball. We got a bit low.
We saw last week, Nudgee was so physical out in the defensive zone, through the middle of the field. Really nowhere to space available to see. We're starting to see that be more of the case for Church today.
Well, so far from what people have told me, the line-out is very crisp, very clean from Churchy, but it's almost like they were trying to bring the attack into the well-known defence of Nudgee's backline. So it's going to be a hard one for them if they want to keep going up to it.
First scrum, two backweights, Nudgee College outweighing Churchy by 3 kilograms, 285 to 282.
It's just a couple of pokes there.
Nearly intercept. Tom Hughes trying his best, but he's offside. And now we'll see what Rashawn Pasitoa, what he can do from the boot.
He's got the win behind him.
He'll go high. And not a bad kick, round that 22-metre line. And Nudgee College have their best attacking platform on the match. They'll run a short line out. As Mosley goes up, he's a breakdown pest. Pasitoa now, short ball for Joe Small, pops it on himself. Sula Siausi. As Hunt now, Pasitoa, taken hard, Blackmore. He'll bounce out of a couple and wriggle for a few extra.
They've done really well here, Nick. 3 phases down. They've already moved about 15 metres up the field. They're approaching the 22.
Kale Manu now, he'll wrestle his way towards it, but he won't cross it. As Ethan Bullymore, one of the competition's best ball-running flankers. Hunt to Pasitoa, he'll take it on himself. He'll beat 1, he'll beat 2. He's in the open. Looking ahead, Joe Small across Nudgee College's first try. 5 minutes in, they'll take an early 5-point lead. And Marty, how about that right foot step from Rashawn Pasitoa?
Well, that's it. Pasitoa, he sat there, he looked what was in front of him, and he saw that sliding Churchy defence. They stopped coming at the man, and they started to drift because they were getting a bit worried about what might have happened outside of them. And Pasitoa instinctively, he saw the space there, and we see here in the replay, they're going to work it out through the backs here. And as Pasitoa came up, he saw the defence, that bit of a lull in there moving forward, and he was up against a front rower, so he knew that he had the wood on him, went through, sets up the man on the outside.
And Pasitoa's kick, Nudgee like it, and so do the referees. They'll take a 7-0 lead in the 6th minute here in round 7 of the Queensland GPS First 15 competition clash between Nudgee College and Churchy.
And that's really good work there from Pasitoa. He made the most of that ball when they got up into that Churchy side of the field. Churchy are going to have to keep them out of their half now, Nick. That wind's really going to plague them.
Yeah, the territory game will be vital in this one as Churchy swarm the Nudgee College receiver just outside their 22. They won't be able to clear this on the full. As Hunt now run back in for Kale Manu. The lock forward, he won't find much room. And some excellent play from Phoenix Hunt, milking the offside penalty. Churchy has to retreat, and he'll find Grass the kick. He's bringing it into the 22.
That wind's really affecting the kicks today, Nick.
And an ugly-looking kick just bouncing out Nudgee's side of the halfway. As Jungle Bennett bouncing quickly, but nowhere to throw it.
Right kick, Charlie!
So it's really interesting today, Nick. I think Churchy are going to have to start playing a bit smarter, keep working through their forwards. If you put the game in this first half, it's not going to be for them. We're going to have to find a better answer.
That's Tom Ford now. He's already back to Mosley. His second take of the day. His hard feet's back on. Pasitoa. Flat pass from Blackmore. Then Regatta. Attacking hard by Jackson. And nearly a turnover. I think they do have it. JP Domenico's wrestled one back in the breakdown. And Churchy now. Can they counter-attack? As Zach Crothers now. For Richardson. Mullen. He's quick. Chip and chase attempt. What can he do with this? And just trickling out in touch on the full, I believe, so we'll come all the way back. And an exciting passage of play from Churchy.
That was, and I think that was the right kind of play. Mullen, he wasn't looking for high kicks to get himself into territory. He went the little chip and chase. Didn't quite pay out for him. It's a 22 restart here. And they're going to get the ball back eventually, which is good. And I think that is a bit of a kerfuffle from Nudgee. That's opening the door for a good attacking option for Churchy.
And that was just a response. Churchy was an area for Nudgee College. And now we're launching attacking range. Then it's going to you saw it. Sean Passato, he'll go again. And no support there, and it's a clean turnover. Draciasi Brown snatches one back for Churchy.
They're the clean-up masters here today. One rip, one play, and then they're cleaning up a loose ruck the other day.
There's some space in that left field. They could have got there, they can't. Watch Churchy now, settle it down. As a little dinking kick in behind. I don't think that's where he wants to go. It's Brian Sheppard comes into the teeth of the Churchy defence. As Hunt now, who'll go at the back of the forwards to Pasatoa, who go flat for Small, to Blackmore, to Robbins now. And taking a big hit from Finn Hume. Mosley standing over top of that ball. Hunt surveying his options. He'll fire in. Kale Manu again. He's been busy.
This firing defence of Churchy, Nick, they might let another hole out.
As Hunt accelerates through a half gap. He won't break the line. He'll make good meters on that. As Manu steps into the double half roll. As Pasatoa, short kick. Churchy peeling for offside. They won't get it. As Baynett now, he'll end up with it. Forwards right on that right wing. And with the entire width of the field to work with now. Digs it out, fires for Bailey Tautau. Churchy all over that breakdown. Unlucky not to win a turnover. As Hunt ghosts his way through, looking for offline. He'll pop it as well. There's Manu now. Inside the 22. Hunt for Tautau. Small arrives. They're working their way inside. As Pasatoa now. Small for Bollymore. Taking on 3. Trying to pop that offload, but taken well. And Nudgee slowing down the play just that little bit. Then building their face coach. As Hayden Mosley takes to the midfield. Yes. Churchy having a crack. Wide now, Pasatoa looking out for Jungle. Bennett wants some space on the right. Looking right for Ryan Sheppard. Ryan Sheppard goes around the outside. He'll score Nudgee's second. 11 minutes in, and they've got 2 tries.
Absolutely clinical there, Nick. The Nudgee's being very tight with their ball. They seldom haven't given away too many of those 1% errors, and they're not overreaching to try and find meters. That's what let Churchy lose that ball about a couple of minutes ago that started this rolling attack. They got it off the loose pass, and it all culminates here. They worked it over to the far side of the field. They pulled all the Churchy defence with them, and then we see the options started opening up for them out wide. And when they started sending it through those silky hands, and we know how dangerous they are on the outside, there's the overlap, and there's another 5 points for their efforts.
Yeah, the vision of Rashan Pasatoa to fire that long ball across the face of so many of his forwards to identify Jungle and Bennett into space in that right. A little bit of flash away, and that's the try. Just 12 minutes really.
With this wind coming right into them, if they're within 60 metres of their line, they to be trying to do risky plays. They have a big
Pasatoa lines up his kick. He's come over from the western coast of Australia this year. And his kick won't have the legs, it looks like, and it'll just drift short. So 12-0 the lead, 12 minutes in, Nudgee scoring at a pace of a point a minute. As Churchy will go back to restart the match for their 3rd time, Charlie Howard. At this point, it's looking dire for Churchy. He'll go high and long for Phoenix Hunt. He'll put it on the right toe and find some ample distance on the kick. And Churchy will play quickly. Running it back now, the big fella.
Stangen having a great there's another one of those wild passes from Churchy, but it looks like there might be something else going on here. And that's a yellow card.
Shown in the front.
Ryan Shepherd given the cheese, so he'll be in the bin. He'll be in the bin for 10 minutes. And now this is a very good opportunity for Church. They've got good field position. We know they've got a strong line, and I think they've just got to try and tighten it up and try not to be so daring with some of these passes going into contact.
Yeah, I think they really take a leaf out of Nudgee's book. Some patience in attack will yield benefits, especially as Nudgee have to defend again and again with the man short in their line. It's tiring stuff as Jack Slack takes on the tackle of Ethan Bullymore. Just inside the Nudgee 40-metre line. As Tarabay goes out the back, McPherson now will take on the hit. A hit up. As Tarabay, he'll go left, out the back. Space there, Siasi Brown looking for...
And that's a wasted opportunity there, Nick. I don't understand. They ran to the middle of the field, and I thought they should have just kept coming over to this side, but they went back the way they came back, where all those Nudgee forwards were lingering after that line out they just had.
It's simple football. Keep driving through the middle, soak up numbers, and then make the most of your man advantage on that wing. Churchy not playing with their heads at the moment.
Well, they've really got to try and make the most of this thing. They've got Nudgee on the ropes and down, trying to keep them down in the field and they're starting to.
Early Tata comes down with the Nudgee instead of driving more. 14 minutes in the lead, 12-0 at home on Ross Oval. Scrappy at the back there. It's Phoenix Hunt. He'll go high and charge down into touch. And we'll go back for another line out.
Hey, so the important thing is here, Nick, that every time this ball keeps going out and they're taking time to reload, that's another couple of seconds they're getting closer to Nudgee having their 15th man back on the field. Churchy aren't careful, they're going to let this advantage go past them.
Full line out to throw into. As the rookie, Shostakowski goes up, and they'll win a penalty.
Yeah, that's a bit silly there, Nick. Interfering with the man jumping, and you don't want to be. I think Nudgee's the team you don't want to be piggybacking into the game.
No, absolutely not. It's making a mockery of great strength, their defensive line. They can't afford to give away opportunities to exert a bit of their there. As Nudgee College, they won't find touch. As Church looking for it to counter-attack, they'll put it right up. And give them the chance to Nudgee in return. Jungle of benefit, loves to run. Extending and taking on the line. 2, 3, and then losing it behind. First in reality, Churchy. A pick and drive now, settling things down. As Churchy charged down himself, straight into the path of Ethan Robbins, or Bullymore, sorry. And Nudgee men back down the back way. 30 metres out from the line. It's Tau now. Churchy winning the breakdown penalty through their prop JP Domenico. Crisis averted and no support arriving in time for Nudgee College.
I'm getting this overall feeling, Nick, both teams, they're getting a little bit panicky in these breakdowns and they're not keeping going. I know it's a bit hard to say they are school kids, so you know, we were all there one time. But I think this game's going to come down to whoever can kind of keep their composure a bit around these breakdowns and concentrate on the ball security. That's going to give them opportunity because both teams right now, they're giving away silly possessions and they're giving away silly penalties when they don't need them at the most.
Spot on, Marty, as Churchy now. They're on the Nudgee 40-metre line. And time running out to make advantage of that yellow card issued to Nudgee's Ryan Shepherd a few minutes ago. As Crothers goes up for Ogilvie. As Tarabay feeds the back line. Howard, short ball. Taken behind by Mosley. Support arrives. The first real line break we've seen from Churchy so far. As Crothers, he'll play it short to McPherson. Clean out, very good from Churchy. Tarabay will take a big shot from his opposite. Phoenix Hunt, they'll play on with the penalty advantage.
That was some silly rugby there, Nick, going right through the side of the breakdown.
And Churchy slowing down. You have to think in those situations where maybe the penalty was the right thing to give away, just to shock Churchy out of the opportunity to counter-attack. As Future now, Queensland one lock. No rush that, Tom Ford. An ambitious attempt. And it opens up an interesting question for Churchy, Marty, whether you take the 3 points
I
at
think,
this
Nick,
early stage.
I'm just going to cut you off straight. They need to look for the line here. They need to be looking for 7-1. He's about 30 metres out with a bit of angle. He's going to be kicking straight into the face of the wind. They've got to currently have a man down, Nudgee, and this is probably one of the best opportunities they've had. This is the closest they've been with the line out, so I think they've gone the right option here. Will
McPherson there, the second row kicking for touch. You don't see that every day. As Crothers now, with a few line-out targets at his disposal. I'll go to the back, Jack Slack. One of the best names in rugby, almost up there with Phoenix Hunt. As Tarabay now, he'll feed his midfield runners. Howard, wide for Siasi Brown, stepping off the left. He'll beat 2, 3. He might get very close, just approaching that Nudgee 5-metre line. As Churchy with their best attacking opportunity to date. All attacking wide now. An offload there for Hughes. Support arrives in time. With the full back line to attack with. McPherson pressing his way over the 5-metre line. Tarabay now calming his man as Domenico. Flashes the short ball and takes on the tackle of the Nudgee College defence. Left the line, needs some space here. Really take it out. As Tarabay still looking for that left. As Crothers now offloading for Hughes. Out the back, Howard now. Short for Jack Slack. Flashing inside, he'll take another tackle.
This is great defence here from Nudgee. They pushed them back beyond the 22. They're not overcommitting to the breakdowns, and they haven't let Churchy slip through the cracks yet.
And no easy gains either. Every carry is tightly fought. And winning a breakdown turnover. Hayden Mosley will come up with that, I think.
And see, that's hat's got to go off to Nudgee there, Nick. They were patient with it. They had Churchy knocking on the door 10 metres out from the line after that line out. And there was some very good set piece play, and they were running hardly long. Churchy's kept getting it down that left side, but Nudgee had the clear points not to let too many defenders get sucked in and maintain a good defensive line across the entire width of the paddock, and I think that's gifted them a pretty good penalty.
Well, we've got to give some credit to the real sort of breakdown artist there, Darcy Shostakowski, making his first 15 debut, getting down and dirty, winning that turnover to relieve a lot of pressure on his defence. As Churchy, they get their first line-out steal of the day. Nudgee slow to react, it seems. Domenico, he'll go short for Hughes. Dumped in the tackle. As Tarabay attacking left again, Howard now. For Jack Slack, offloading as well. And driving, making easy meters and losing as Joe Small makes the turnover. Wide cut out for Mosley, who offload off the deck. He won't find anyone forwards there to clean up the mess. Churchy back all over that breakdown. Clears for Pastor, stepping. Nowhere to go. Hunt going back for Jungler Bennett, that left boot, looking for Terrish. That's a booming kick, wind assisted, and scored to the back for Churchy. Back in the hand. Finn Hume there. A left foot punt finding space in the back, but falling into the path of Bennett, who put on his footwork and pass and sends across a hospital pass.
Feed the monster, Nick.
As Pastor clears, getting it out of there. What a rib tickling tackle.
You see, I think we're starting to see Church switch on now, Nick. That was a great tackle, and Nudgee, for the first time, they just didn't have a response. They just kept trying to send it away, and it was that was some bone-crunching good defence there from Church. That's what they're going to need for the remainder of this match if they want to stay in it.
Freddie Futrell take a bow. Crunching lock on wing hit. As Crothers now, he'll throw into the line out. Ogilvy goes up and comes down with it. Tarabay now for Howard. Short ball for Siasi Brown, who's been one of Churchy's best running the ball today. Tarabay now for Howard. He'll put in a grubber kick behind, looking to find touch on the right wing. He does so just inside the Nudgee halfway. And it feels like the tempo of this game is starting to sort of heat up, isn't it, Marty? It's a great tackle.
Well, that's it. Churchy is starting to switch on now. And that great pressure that we saw there
from Jacob Mullen.
From Jacob Mullen, the winger.
171 centimetres, 71 kilograms, and dropping the absolute hammer on his opposite.
That's what, and there's another stolen line out, I think, from Churchy. We talked about this. They would have it in the back of their minds that stealing these line outs from Nudgee, that's how they're going to start putting themselves into better field position. Just
winning those counter-attacking opportunities. The former fly-half, popping the pass just a bit too quick for his support. And a turnover straight back for Nudgee College.
And you see, this is the thing. Nudgee's going to... Oh, then we see Nudgee now. They're back to a full complement of 15. I believe that was Ryan Shepherd getting back into the action again. So, time to see how this is going to play out. But Churchy are definitely showing a lot of dominance in these lineouts and these scrums. So, on these lineouts, we haven't had too many scrums this match thus far. So, I'll be interested to see how the battle keeps going there.
We'll head for one now. As I mentioned earlier, nothing to sort these two runners into exercise and all the technique points that they need in this scrum battle. Harry Vella and Jakey Domenico on this side, closest to camera is Pasatoa now. He'll feed Blackmore, looping for Small. And Ryan Shepherd making his presence felt immediately, bumping out of one. And fighting his way over the Nudgee 40-metre line. As Hunt now for Small. And Churchy appealing for obstruction, and they'll get it.
And that comes off the back, Nick. Such a fantastic little set piece for the back line. Really razzle-dazzled, and Ryan Shepherd went straight through the defender, bounced him back about 30 metres for his effort. It looks like it's going to be a bit of redemption here for Churchy.
As now we see a really fascinating clash between the Churchy tight end, Jakey Domenico, Harry Vella, go boys, future presence. As Churchy now, after pulling out Hayden Moses, he's been very, very good at that breakdown, snatching a turnover. As Phoenix Hunt puts it high into the sky, still flying bounce behind the Churchy backline. He'll go back and breaking two.
He's got speed, Nick. Can he go all the way?
It's Calamone wraps him up and throws him down on the halfway on that left wing. And the turnover's good as Hunt puts in a grubber kick, bouncing off one, not into touch. Charlie Howard. Ooh. A painful looking clean out there on Mosley.
Well done, well done.
As Hunt taken with a bit of pressure on. Nudgee just looking to settle this down now. As Bullymore out the back for Jungler Bennett. He'll accelerate his line, stepping inside one. Stepping inside two. And supported with it just in time. As Bullymore out the back to Pasatoa, stepping into the left foot. That fly half on the field. Belly taps out. Big number 8. And we've seen this before, Marty. Nudgee's so good at building pressure and building up their phase count. They're over 8 phases now. Taking it back in the midfield, Bailey Tautau. And he's the name we've been saying quite often this half. There's Tautau now, Pasatoa, short ball for Small. Bullymore right. Siasi fighting his way over 22.
What, Fred?
Hunt looks both ways and he'll decide to go left for Calamani now. He's trying to spit out of one. And he'll eat a big tackle from Brandon. It's Shostakowski. And Churchy's breakdown presence steals back another penalty.
Now, one thing that's really been interesting so far in this half, Churchy on numerous occasions, Nick, they've given them a bit of a softball. Nudgee is stripping them off from the breakdown on the one-on-one contact, and Nudgee, they've got the ball a few times, but they keep going for these infield kicks. We know about the strength they got through the back line. It's almost as though they're trying to match Churchy in the pick and drive contest, and it's not always paying out for them. I'd be really interested to see if they can get these turnovers and start converting it into their back line, what damage they can do.
Looking at the turnovers conceded stats, Nudgee College conceded 6 turnovers in 27 minutes and Churchie conceded 7. So it's a game where possession is changing hands rapidly. Churchie now. Everyone's standing around looking what's going on.
Didn't let the man go there, Nick. So a bit of discipline around those breakdowns. I think we'll take that.
Getting that right foot to use. Finding touch exactly on the halfway. So ladies and gentlemen viewing the stream, you'll be able to tell us if this is not straight or if it is indeed. Siasa Brown now taking back with the teeth, wrestling hard this fellow runs.
Go, Fred.
Wrestling to ground. Tarabay. As McPherson accelerates into the line. And now Churchie just starting to get their tempo up again. More and more hit-ups. Short ball for Crothers.
They're picking and driving hard here, Nick.
As Howard, flat ball for Domenico, who passes on to Slack. He won't break the line, but he'll go bloody close.
There's the halfway line. Churchie working it well up the middle.
Howard stepping off his left. Support arriving. I'm not sure they knew what to do with that. Siasi Brown. A real focal point of this Churchie attack. Behind the back of Futrell now. Crothers. Churchie for Slack. Oh, Falcon there from Howard, and Nudgee are off to the races. Koskowski finding...
that's a great tackle by Mullen.
Snuffing out a very promising attacking grade from Nudgee. With a big backline set up behind them. Will they use it? Pasatoa now for Small, for Bennett. Flat pass for Bullymore on that right extreme. Taking the ground well. Marty now. Striding out on the one escape title.
5 minutes left in the half, Nick. Churchie going to have to try and respond before the break.
Right now as Bullymore thumps his way to the 22. Hunt's getting both ways. He finds Small inside. Short ball for Siasi. Pops the ball inside for Ford. Just over the top there. Nudgee getting there real into the swing of things. As Hunt's slowing it down. Oh, wow. And that's a try. Ethan Robbins taking that little pop pass from Joe Small to the house for Churchie for Nudgee's 3rd try.
Yeah, that's just it, Nick. Every time Nudgee are getting close to this Churchie line, they're getting over the paint. So I think this game, especially in the second half, they've really going to have to make sure they use this wind well, just like Nudgee have. Nudgee were really close there to getting over for a 3rd time, but Churchie have just held on.
It would appear that was not a try, because there's a line out. Well, there we go. The commentator's curse. We spoke it into life a little bit too soon.
Absolutely. And see, this is not Churchie. You're going to have to be really careful and be vigilant, especially in the second half. This wind, I think, is playing a huge role in the attack, especially when you're coming from the southern end of the field. And those kicks, we've seen them in play. They've always been inhuman, some of those kicks. They're really making the most of that wind. So, you know, as the half will change, they're going to get their go at going with it as opposed to against it. And obviously we are on Facebook, so we want to see what you all think at home. Thumbs up at home if you think Nudgee are going to hold on to the game. Love hearts if you think Churchie, once we hit 70 minutes, will be the victor. Let us know what you think.
Churchie now going high to the back of their line. It has been very good.
Oh, it's been surgical today. Oh, and this is dangerous.
Off. Could there be a 2nd yellow card on the way for Nudgee College?
And we know that the defensive line for Nudgee very scary when they get up, and I think Cronin's just said to them, you know, there's being scary.
And now consecutive penalties taking Churchy well upfield, just inside the Nudgee 40-metre line.
So they've gotten about 60 metres from those 2 penalties, Nick, and that's going to hurt Nudgee a bit.
And you don't want to give away a third, not right now. As Crothers will go to the back again. It's just been dominant for Churchy at the back of that line out. A slack will go behind for Mullen. Trying to skip outside one, but he held up. Can Nudgee win this drive of all time? The answer is no. Again.
And this is getting a bit repetitive. When they're sending it out, they're trying to do a bit of second order of the season. They're losing the ball. You know, they might just have to put it back closer where the forwards are, because things are changing. But they've just got to...
As Bennett, left foot low kick, skidding into the 22. As Mullen now, he'll, under a lot of pressure, he'll take on contact. Little fella.
Brave.
Brave.
Go, George!
A little line break from George Charabay. To the 22 now. Pick and drive from Crothers. Just one off the ruck. Now they'll be careful now not to go outside of the 22 so they can kick it out in the full.
It's just under a minute left, Nick. Again, if they want to try and get something as hard, they're going to have to hold on to it.
Electing to keep it in tight to Minico. Miller and Ford. And a high box kick from Tarabay.
Go!
Bit of a mix up the back from Terrace. So a costly knock on from Ethan Robbins, gifting Churchy one last crack at coming out of this first half with some points.
Well, they're in a good field position here, Nick. They're about 45 metres.
Extreme of play that from the entire back line to tackle. And we'll see now if Churchy's going to produce some magic to close out the first half. Trying to rustle back some points from the start of the deficit. And that's half time on our watch. This should be final play. Siasi Brown taking the ball inside and crossing the halfway. It's a net loss for Churchy. As Howard now, flat ball for McPherson. He's up and he's still going. There's some space and he's left on the next lap. Shut down well. Is back, behind the backs of the forwards. Flat ball for Hughes. He'll take on the defence. There's Tarabay now. It's a clean service for Howard. Siasi Brown and dummy go himself straight into Saul Siasi.
Hold on, he's reaching the pocket there, Nick. Wow, that's a big blow there. Hayden Mosley. The end of in for 10. So, you know, that's an interesting step. So I think this yellow card's going to be a bit more felt than the one they had.
I don't think so. And now, running short again. Churchill had their second opportunity. Makes them happy in the final play. It's stolen. Nudgee put this one to bed at half-time. Rubbers at the sideline. And that'll be all for the first half.
And now, important thing here, first 10 minutes that second half, Nick, Churchy are going to have the advantage, 15 players to 14.
He's going to college from line.
one. Who've been the busiest?
Busiest when I look across at Nudgee, I definitely say that Phoenix Hunt, the captain and halfback, he's doing a great job. He's the pin in the hinge. He's really linking them up. I can't go past they're working well, especially with the back.
We've got to give some credit as well to some of the big runnings who plays this Nudgee forward pack are doing some damage. Kalamanu and Belly Tautau feels like every second or third hit off, it's one of those two boys. So they're getting really busy. From Churchy, Jack Slack is getting involved everywhere, and you've got to give great praise to Slack, as well as the work of Ogilvy, McPherson, and Futrell in those lineouts for Churchy. Well, we'll have a quick look across these stats now, and it looks pretty dead.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and when you break it down, it's the penalties conceded, 7-3. That's really manipulating the territory of possession, and I think you can see there. I'm surprised it's not more, but at the same time, I've got every opportunity they've gone for line, win, so they're not getting as much bang for their buck for those kicks. So I think Nudgee keep this penalty turnover in the second half. We're going to see a lot more territory, a lot more possession down the field. I think minutes here where they're a man down, and an important man, because that's one of the battles they're not winning right now. It's in the forwards.
So as we get it to the halftime break, Nudgee College undefeated so far in 2017. They want to stay undefeated going into a huge matchup next week with a top of the table clash with the Southport School down on the Gold Coast. So we'll take a break there, I think. We'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, in just a little bit. Stay tuned to Queensland GPS First 15 Rugby. Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of Churchie vs Nudgee at Ross Oval. Round 6. Silence honouring the memory of former Nudgee College 97 captain Andrew Christie, who joined the SAS after school and tragically lost his life earlier this week. There'll be a funeral at Duntroon later this week. Everyone who's encouraged along to go along to that and share their memories of a great Nudgee man. As Nudgee College now, first time. Church's way, they'll be kicking off a lot more through the second half. A strong wind behind them, we think 21 kilometres an hour. As Churchie field kick right centre line, just outside the 22. He'll lose it. Joe Small now off to the races and the start that Nudgee would have dreamed of, and for Churchie, a worse start.
Yeah, that was not ideal, and Nudgee, they're proving that this win might try and see a factor for both these halves there. Cleans up the ball and darts through for about 15 metres to get the try. And we can see here, watch this Nudgee line, Nick. They're waiting, and they're all moving up together. And then we see Joe Small, he had the man lined up. They waited for that little bit of a fumble in the centres, and then they took it. And
off to the races indeed.
He's going to strike that. That'll be flags up. Another 2 points for Nudgee.
19-0. So we'll see if this win can hold a good 20 points for Churchie.
You know, it'll
be quite a second half if it is.
I guess it's a different story when you're taking a kick into the wind. Nudgee did quite well with it. But now the thing Churchie can do is Churchie have this wind behind them. They can easily start this thing right down deep in the Nudgee
territory. Territory and possession is the only way Churchie can come back in this one, as Nudgee off to a heavy lead. And a booming kick in return from Jungler Bennett, finding touch over the halfway. That's an exceptional kick.
That's a huge kick.
One of the three superstars this year. Certainly not the team and over the top, too high, as Hunt will go back into the teeth of the forward pack, linking up with Shostakovsky. Breezing straight through the big fella. He's got some speed as well. Look at those long levers working. And he'll dive in for Nudgee's second try in 2.5 minutes.
Open the door, Nick. Ethan Bumble, he saw that coming a mile off. When he got into that ball, he already had the right.
He opened the door and slammed it shut. Through that gap. It's a great try.
Bumble was a big blanket too. He's one of the biggest players out there for Nudgee. You see him moving that fast. It was really hard to stop him. They had a set piece going on. We can see a little bit of communication between Pasitoa and him. Pasitoa got the ball, had him sitting in the pocket, and there we go. We see him getting away with it, and you were never going to stop. You were never going to stop him. He was just, he was full tilt.
He scored a couple of long-range tries this year. He scored a cracker against Ipswich 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. Where they just off the races, big time moving, tremendous speed. As Pasitoa has kicked 2 from 3 today. And he's going to go 3 from 4 as Nudgee hit out to a 26-0 lead, 39th minute.
Yeah, this is not the first 4 minutes I think Churchie envisioned coming out of the half, Nick. They're really going to have to try and knuckle down on this defence, and, you know, they're going to have to try and find some possession in the Nudgee side of the field.
Nudgee have just been so clinical all through the day. When they do have the opportunities there, you know, they don't put them to waste often. are a tremendous football team. That's why they're sitting undefeated with 7 rounds played.
That's a handy kick. And now here's a really good opportunity for Churchy, Nick. They're very close. They can have a pretty good sniff at this. We've just got to see them try and round out that liner that was so good in the first half. And I think they've just got to try and not to look for that much expansive play right away.
Being able to build and capitalise on And so it's just been a nightmare opening the second half for Churchy, where every little thing has gone against them. As Nudgee College's crowd trying to rally their men. And it'd be hard to switch off with men like that screaming at you. And ladies and gentlemen, you can hear that through our ref mic. That's how loud that is.
Yeah, it's pretty booming, Nick. The boys here. Ross Oval, they're getting very, very vocal. As Nudgee packed down for a scrum inside their half.
Well, if Nudgee can capitalise on this scoreline they have now, it'll be the first time since 2011 they've beat Churchy on their home. Joe Small rumbling his way.
That was a really good run there from Joe Small. He was on his own. He went down, released the ball, then picked it back up. Quite sevens of him, if I have to say so. But
he was a Queensland.
Oh, that's a fortuitous bounce.
Jungler Bennett off the races, and Nudgee College cannot be stopped this second half. They have been electric. Jungler Bennett crossing underneath the posts. Nudgee's 5th try.
Heart's got to go out to Churchy there, Nick. That bounce really went back in. Jungler Bennett. Eyes went wide, pinned the ears back, and he was nowhere to be seen unless he was under the sticks. That was a great piece of rugby.
Well, they say the coaches are always telling their young players, never let the ball bounce. Maybe couldn't help it. A cruel bounce. And then no stopping this fella.
The thief in the night. That was a rude bounce. But Jungler Bennett, I bet he was saving every moment of that. And he was never going to miss that one.
No, Pasatoa going 4 from 5 from the kicking tee. And let's be honest, they haven't been that tough. Nudgee have given them some wonderful opportunities to kick.
But that's the interesting thing. You say they're not that tough, and it's because Nudgee is staying alert and they're waiting for the little mistakes, especially in the Churchy backlines. And their players are just cutting through, running hard and fast, and they're being unopposed when they go in for those tries. So there's been a lot of under-the-sticks action for Nudgee today.
Well, Marty, you said in the pre-game show that Nudgee, in these games, it's always sort of 34-7 or around about there. It's always one-way traffic. It's never been close.
Here we go. Churchy on it now, Nick.
Slack. He needs support. Churchy piling with that breakdown. This is where they're so good. Can they now snatch back some points? Domenico.
Oh, he's knocked it on, Nick. He's knocked it on there. And it's not all over, though, because they're right down the Nudgee line. Now, Nudgee, ideally, I don't think they're brave enough to try and run it, phase play 100 metres of the field. So they're, realistically, they're going to look for the exit. So there could be another bite of the cherry here coming up for Churchy.
Well, up 33-0, I wouldn't be so sure, Marty. Churchy getting a bit of a shove on the scrum. And they will run it out. Joe Small taking on multiple defenders. With the replacement number 20, he'll leave that one behind. So Churchy, they'll lose it on the Domenico pick and drive, but they'll get it straight back from that knock on Joe Small.
A bit of confidence there for them. They did have the push on the Nudgee scrum, and they've now got one of their own 10 metres out in front of the sticks. So another good opportunity here for Churchy to try and seal the lead.
succession.
Yeah, that's the thing. Church, they've had some good opportunities down here, but Nudgee, they're keeping the pressure up. Even when they're 5 metres out from their own line, they're staying composed. And I think it's been the story of this game so far. Nudgee have been hungry, and they're also guarding their doors pretty heavily.
Off the side of the route, as many metres as Sean Pastor will right. But they're outside of the 22, and they've got going through back.
He's got to hold on to this. So this thing, Church, GDS has stolen a few from him.
He's short line out now. Calmani going straight up and losing it.
There we go. They're not one from
Lucky breakers. Siausi gets on a rumble. Played Queensland under 15 3 years ago. That's Phoenix Hunt. He's gearing up for a big box kick. Oh, no, had me fooled. As Pastor thumps this touch. Just inside the line.
That was the right kind of kick, Nick. He knew the high wasn't the way to get those meters. He quite low, punched it over the players. And, that goes off to Hunt there. He sold it pretty heavily in the back of the breakdown.
Now, Future goes up minus his headgear. As Siausi Brown out the back for Stangen. Tackled very firmly there, number 20 from Nudgee College, meeting the Churchy captain, Siausi Brown. Tarry behind the backers, forwards, Howard step inside and go himself. Decent game.
I haven't seen too much of Charlie Howard this game so far.
Very content just to play the ball and his hands on the big work. Set himself up for a nice carriage into the second half. As Future out to Stangen. And some more play from the Church just to get through. Hughes coming in from the side, ignoring the Roth.
It's all about going through the gates, Nick, and this is, it doesn't matter whether they're playing here, they're playing up in Premier Grade, or they're playing Super Rugby. The gates have become one of the they're one of the most controversial things in the last few years. They've really gotten breakdown mechanics to an art.
Well, they're all being rewritten, and for November this year, we start to see some more changes to the game.
For the better.
For the better, of course. Constantly evolving. Siausi Brown, he's taking a while to get back on side.
Breaking Nick, and I think Nudgee, they've lifted it in the second half. They're going in the win, and they hit our man down, and they've lifted very well, and they seldom haven't given any options so far, except for that one little one where we saw Jack Slack clean up that stray bouncing ball, and it was nearly on right there. But other than that, Nudgee have done a fantastic job to keep Churchy playing in their own half for the first 50 minutes of this game.
Well, it's a stunningly accurate tale of the tape, Marty, because you think better through this second half.
Line-outs. They can get the line-out shot.
Looks like the first, the ball over the hands on. Short ball under pressure, Nudgee swamp the runner. Wide looking for space. Siausi Brown straight off long, they won't get through the tackle with Joe Small. Getting some speed on their attacking now, and they've found space down the left wing. Sam Richardson, no, Finn Hume. Popping it inside, Ogilvie. He'll reclaim it. Can Churchy get it wide? There's space on the fringes. Short ball ahead. Nudgee have been so adept, so good at this pressure all game. Siausi Brown wrestles around, just velocity.
A lot of bodies in there, Nick. Church needs to really clean up their breakdowns and the impact it has on the number of players they let get sucked in.
Hayden Mosley over the top, incurred a yellow card at the end of the first half. That hasn't deterred him one little bit. Straight back in there and winning back a clutch penalty.
And this is the thing, Nick. Nudgee, their players, the right time and right amount of aggressive at those breakdowns. The Church are getting a bit flustered. They're seeing to counter, send in 2 or 3 guys. It's really slowing down their base play because he's got to get the pick out, dig these balls out, and try and make something happen. And everything's slowing down. And Nudgee, it's part of their plan.
Well, you can see the wind on that touchies flag. It is fluttering. A game of cat and mouse at the top of the Nudgee line out. Shostakowski, Bullymore now. He scored a great try like this last year. And he'll do so again in 2017. Vintage from Nudgee College down that left blind side.
Mate, the train tracks were wide open. Bullymore chewed his way under 5 points. That was great work. And we see Bullymore, he's come around here, the set piece, worked a treat, opened up the train tracks. They sucked in the defender that was meant to be covering that channel because they dummied that driving maul option. And
Successful again.
And this is, they're absolutely running away with it, Nick. And even this wind isn't slowing them down one bit. Nudgee playing a low, fast game at Churchie into the wind in the second half. In the first half, they're using this wind and but the overall message has just been keep them in their half. That's what they've done.
Churchie going high now at the left wing. Taken by Shostakowski. Run this out. Bennett, space on the left. Number 20, I think. Churchie, they're going to win a turnover back, it seems. They're getting dirty. And that is a real scrap fest. Nudgee will retain possession, but only just. Will be the biggest Nudgee win of the year if they can keep scorelines where they are. But I just get the feeling there's more points left in this Nudgee side.
They're really going to correct that difference this week. They're going to be catching right up to Southport.
Sialsi now rumbling ahead. He'll play it back and give away a penalty.
Struck back here. Yep. Yep. So where to make contact, mate? Was it a clear punt? Yeah. So we're clear punt. And he's obviously winning. So it's going to be a red card. So we'll watch the mark. Was he in the field?
Who's been feeding their line out all day. They're going to have to do some swapping around of players to try and get that front row fattened back up again because this is going to be interesting. I know there's only 16 minutes left, but that really opens new corridor for this game today.
There's even dire consequences. He's compulsorily sat next week's game against Southport. So Nudgee College will be missing their star hooker. The biggest game of the season next week.
The Lions are going to be looking forward, Nick. Just as you said, that is that's a massive bump in the road for Nudgee. They're going to have to really hit the books hard the next week.
As Crothers now throwing to the back, throwing to the front. McPherson, and they'll run their own short side play.
The man was missing there, Nick. Very good idea to go there.
Such a very aggressive play this game.
Churchy, strong, Nick. They're getting close to the line.
It's Future drives. One of the two.
Keep going. There's another meter, Nick. They're going to get closer and closer until they find their first points.
Edging closer. Well, they're just inside that 5 meter line.
Now, be interesting to see what they're going to do here. Are they going to opt for the scrum? Oh, it is going to be the scrum. So
you'd have to think there is a bit of back row who'll drop out of this. But Nudgee's stars are all in their back row, so you'd have to wonder who comes off. Kale Marnie, the second row. He'll leave Nathan Bullymore strapping lad at 190 centimetres. He'll step into the second row. I think he'll be pretty comfortable there. And of course, Churchy have to match numbers in the scrum, so there's a number 8 floating around in this back line somewhere. Churchy going to the blind side. Tarabay riding forward. He could have scored. Churchy out on the books.
and that's a really smart play there from George Tarabay. Obviously, the numbers were down, and I think all the focus was going to be emerging in that Churchy back line. And they left that back door, all the short side wide open, and we're going to get to that with Churchy with a good, strong, forward-moving scrum. They did really well, and he had the momentum up as he ran round the back and just slipped right past all the defenders. So good try there to George Tarabay, and that'll get Churchy on the board.
Trapping Phoenix Hunters opposite on the other side of the scrum. There was nothing he could do, and all of a sudden that numbers overlap was unstoppable. And credits to well taken try. Let's see his own kick.
Well, it's going to be a big 13 minutes here. It's only 33 points, potentially still quite a good gap to close. We're playing 15 and 14 for that 12 minutes. Stranger things have happened.
Nudgee College. One of the great sides, GPS Rugby, laser trap. Just caught that one. He's going to put a foot into touch. Nudgee College forces straight off the bat.
Well, they're going to need to dig deep here. The turnover's just the first part, Nick. They're missing that hooker, and I think he was definitely one of the bits of mortar that was holding their forward pack together. I think there's a little bit of disarray here while they try and figure out what to do.
Overthrown. Phoenix Hunt skipping his way over the church of the line. Robbins steps in the flash. Belly tap. All out there. Church going with the spin. Drive the new hooker. Mosley. And Phoenix Hunt now. Nudgee's backs will attack. Short ball. Bullymore. Looking for his third. Can't break through there. Hunt grabbing it. Pastor, he'll take on line himself. And gee, Nudgee College have runners queuing up all over the field. This will be Vela, met by his opposite, Brandon. Now, Bullimore, dummies, steps outside, offloads, small. Mosley. To Bennett now. And that's the 22-meter line. Nudgee just crossed. And Marshall and Churchy get back inside. Just wrapped up on the 22. Small, short ball for Siausi. He'll go over. And the phase counter is ticking higher and higher. 20 looking for an offer. He'll find it in Phoenix Hunt. Stepping inside, he'll wait for Small to arrive. And Churchy gets the toe. Siausi Brown. Oh, and an accidental offside. Yes, indeed.
I'd say even though they're a man down, Nudgee, they've reorganised their attack. And they've opted for the slow grind. They just want to maintain their possession, and they slowly worked it up into the Churchy side of the field. And I have to say, Nick, Nudgee, they've been in control for the last 60 minutes quite well.
Yeah, I think there's no time when Nudgee sort of lost their cool in this match. It's been a very impressive performance from the blue and white Butcher Stripes.
But it's like you said, the implications of Crothers getting that red card, Nick, are you foreseeing that next week that's going to really wreak havoc when they come up against Southport?
Southport have just been such a complete football team, and if not for one shock loss to Ipswich in round 3, you know, they would be the real front runners to the competition as it stands today. I think Southport were favourites going into next week, even before the red card to Tom Ford. So I think this has definitely hurt Nudgee's chances. And a standing ovation there from the Nudgee crowd.
Yeah, looks like we've got someone down here in back play, Nick. Now, the interesting thing is with just over 9 minutes remaining in this half, you know, I think it's fair to say Churchy pretty much going to down and out here, trying to find 33 points in 9 minutes. It's an inhuman number. I'm not saying it's impossible.
It would be quite a comeback.
Pretty sure we'd see it on kick and chase.
Siausi Brown, it looks like, being assisted off the field. He's been one of Churchy's best. Well, they've been outgunned, but it's no fault of that man, Dre Siausi Brown. And hopefully nothing serious for the young man. And so McPherson will clear. A bit of wind assistance as well, and that'll be a lovely punt.
That's a fair strike for a second rower. John Eales, eat your heart out.
Just inside the halfway. They haven't cleared their half yet. But Churchy now, it's all about looking for what takeaways can they get from this match.
They need to finish strong, Nick.
Crothers, uncontested at the top. As Howard now. Short ball for number 21. Howard dumbing and stepping inside himself, but straight into the teeth of another tackler. No room there. As Churchy starting to really find some tempo in this match. They're going to finish strong. An array of substitutes on the field. Slack. Tarabay now. A little chip kick in. Looking for space. Oh, and it's through the legs of Jangler Bennett, who'll snap a banana kick. And the bouncing ball. Ooh.
Oh, the bounce wasn't good for Bennett that time.
He's had a couple of
He's already got his quota today.
He's had a quota for a year, popping straight into his hands like the first one.
I'd put him in the slips corridor with luck like that.
Brandon popping a speculative offload. Richardson. He cops 2 big shots. Nerabody's not getting up off that ground. And a spill from Churchy puts an end to a raid that was starting to look promising.
Oh, and things are heating up in the middle.
Well, if you're Phoenix Hunt right now, you're telling your boys at Nudgee College to calm down. We can't afford any more sanctions going into a huge week next week. And Churchy feeling frustrated. It's not how they would have wanted today to go. Of course, Churchy undefeated on Ross since 2011. All coming to an end today.
Looks like there's a lot of chat going on in the front rows there, Nick. It's good to see the boys giving it a little bit.
The front row never giving credit for how much chat they can throw.
It's always quality banter on the front rows.
And always loving as well, never too harsh. As Nudgee College now, that's a number 20 at first receiver. Haven't seen that one before. So lots of substitutes on the field for Nudgee College. And just rumbling through, building their faces. A nice carry from Bailey Tata there. Carrying Nudgee over the halfway. And with 8 minutes to play. Well, you get the sense now, Nudgee College just going through the motions, Marty.
Well, that's it. Just under 7 minutes, over 7 minutes left in this second half. Nudgee have just been dominating right from the word go. And every time Churchy have gotten near that line, Nick, they've really just battened up the defense, bolstered up the defenses, I beg your pardon, and they've been clinical with it. Yeah, except for that forward pass. That was a little off.
That might have drifted forward. I mean, you can't give that the benefit of the doubt.
I think the other thing is how well they've adapted in this game. You know, they have spent pretty much half a game with a man down, yet they have come away with such a good scoring line. Obviously, the 2 yellow cards then followed up with that red card. Nudgee have been their own worst enemy today, but they have really just outplayed Churchy so far for the last 63.5 minutes. They've responded very well to everything that Churchy have thrown at them, and they've had good defence.
I think what you're starting to see here, Marty, is Churchy sort of getting an attack underway. Staying on now. Not much he can do there. It's really the start of the next little dynasty of Nudgee College Rugby, because looking across this team, it is one of the youngest teams Nudgee College have put out in the first team competition since at least my memory. 1, 2, 3, multiple 16-year-olds fielded. And they put on such a great performance all through this season.
Yeah, but it's not slowing down Churchy, Nick. Churchy, you know, they're going to keep driving until we get to that 70th minute. They've got more on the line here than just a score.
No, of course, and it's only a short season for these GPS schoolboys. Every minute played on these wonderful ovals that have produced so many great wallabies over the years. It's a special thing. So regardless of score, guarantee every player on there will be loving their time on Ross.
And we're seeing now Churchy's forward momentum, it's slowing down. Nudgee's defence, Nick, this is where it's been turning on all game. When they get inside their 22, and we see there another costly error from Churchy, and the ball's been turned over off the back of their breakdown.
And Nudgee College look to clear now, find some space on that sideline, but time is called off.
Oh dear, and it looks like Cronin, he's just sent Tarabay to the bin.
We think the scrum half was going to have a bit of a sit. He was a younger brother of a double premiership winning Churchy fly half named Isaac Tarabay. So some talent in that family. And I was actually chatting to Isaac a few weeks ago, and I said to him, have you got any gossip I can dish out on George? And he says to me, there's one good fact. George grew up his entire life wanting to be a jazz and hip-hop dancer. And so he demanded to be sent to dance school. And that is true to every word.
Nick Albanese, you are the worst bloke for saying that over this stream. And there we go, the short arm going to Churchy there.
And I've been sitting on that fact for a couple of weeks, just waiting for dancing feed George Tarabay.
I think you should have sat on it for another few years till he finished school.
He's only 16, so he's got another year of first 15, so I'm sure we'll get a chance to wheel it out again.
You only get one bite of that cherry, Nick.
As Finn Hume
Oh, that is a textbook strip, 1-on-2, Nick. And if that doesn't define Nudgee's efforts today, you know, summing it up, that I don't know what else does. Nudgee have just been crossing all their T's and dotting all their I's so well today.
Jacob Mullen, Carmichael hunting it, sprinting into the teeth of the Nudgee of defenders. You know, Churchie have retained their attacking shape. I mean, they look as good now structurally as they did in the first half.
But the big thing is, oh, here comes another card for the day.
It's the reserve.
And this is an interesting thing though about today, is that Churchie's attack, yeah, it hasn't. They've had a very well-rounded attack, but it stalls. They get close to that 22-metre line of Nudgee, and Nudgee, that's when they really kick it on. We seldom have seen them get over that 22 today unless it was from a penalty kick where they've kicked for the line or they had a bounce that's gone their way. So Nudgee, they've had a huge emphasis on keep them outside of our 22 on the attack, and if not, let's keep them down their end of the field.
Well, this has been as good as any a chance Churchie have had to score points as Jack Slack goes up at the back.
Oh, and that was some great hands there from Slack holding on to that one.
Churchie now getting their rumble on and nearly stripped. They'll retain possession, but only just. And that's a try. There we go. Churchie will head up 40 points to 12 with a kick still to come. And is that enough to sort of take a happy spin out of the second half, Marty?
I'm not sure. I'm being honest, I think there's been a lot of cards out there. And I think next week, if we're taking away if Nudgee go up against Southport and give away 3 yellows and a red card in 70 minutes of schoolboy rugby, they're really going to feel the burn for a day. I don't think Churchie were in a position to really, make them pay for it. But next week, if that kind of stuff keeps going on, that's when they're really going to feel it. And I don't see how Jared Alexander and the Nudgee coaches, how they won't be bringing that up in the coming week, because I think that is something they're going to have to really work on. It's the discipline. Just because you're ahead, when is winning not enough?
Charlie Howard with a conversion, and he'll get his 2 points there. So 40 points to 14, Nudgee College leading Churchie with just under 50 seconds to play before the time will run out for both sides today.
Absolutely, and I think one of the big things I'm taking away from this game is Churchie, they've been quite disciplined. We haven't seen too many infractions going against them today. Obviously, we did see Tarabay leaving the field just before, but they've played a good game of rugby. I think if they just kind of clean up those possessions around the breakdown, they're going to have a much better shake of it next week.
And Nudgee, a difficult round 9 coming up as well, the match against State High.
Nudgee, they're going to try and work this clock down, Nick. It's going to be getting close to full time. And they've got the ball in possession. They might be down 2 men, but they're going to pick and drive. There's a bit of a kick on the back from Jungler Bennett. It's rolling away, and it looks like that'll be Howard. Howard on his own. Howard, he's round 2, 3, but the third man will get him down. Jacob Mullen, I beg your pardon. Now from the back, Churchie, they're going to work it through the hands once again. Oh, and that's been one of the stories of today. Passing first and looking second, and I think that's really hindered the Churchie backline. They are getting a bit panicky. They're trying to send that ball through the hands, when sometimes holding on to the possession and going straight up into the defence might have been the better option.
We're starting to get some scores in from around the grounds, and it looks like Brisbane Grammar School have upset Gregory Terrace 15 points to 14.
Holy buckets.
We're still seeking confirmation, but that's what I'm being told. And as well, it looks like Ipswich Grammar School are 34 points ahead, 34 points to 32, so a 2-point lead over Toowoomba Grammar School. And then rounding out around, and Hayden Mosley now galloping down the left wing. A knock on from Churchill will give Nudgee another sniff of life, a chance to put on even more points. Going for their 7th try of the match.
It's been a long game, Nick. Are they going to keep trying to push? They want to try and edge close to that 50.
Space out wide. Nudgee College will be hard to stop here. Ryan Shepherd. He'll go very close. Can he get there? And he will.
He'll be just short,
he'll be
Nick.
just short. It looks like he crossed the plane from where we're sitting. Supporter Rice and Nudgee College going for their 7th try. Stepping inside, number 20. We don't have a name for him, but he'll score a very nicely taken try.
And that'll probably round the game up today. And a dominating performance from Nudgee College here, Nick. They've done very well. I think the score reflects how technical they've been with the game plan. And we just see here, we nearly saw Ryan Shepherd clean up that round the back right-hand flick pass. That he just fell short, and then the picking and driving saw them get over the line, and that'll be another great try going for Nudgee College. They are a very commanding performance, if I had to sum it up in one word.
No, I think commanding is a very good word to choose, Marty. Well, now we'll see who takes this conversion. It'll be left boot of Jungler Bennett. That'll be his first kick of the day.
And the silver lining that I'm seeing here for this Churchy side is that they have the potential. Their forwards, they're a 10 out of 10 forwards operation. They do a fantastic job. I don't know if you agree here, but it just seems as though they were trying to, in their minds, they were trying to get that ball out through their back line, and they were getting a little bit panicky, and that's when we saw a lot of those incomplete passes going, to that pass that's only 2 meters away to the man, and they're not really looking. So if they can tighten those up, or maybe just commit to going into the contact and retaining that possession, I think that'll put them in good stead for next week.
Bennett, his kick is going to be good as well. So a near flawless goal-kicking performance from Nudgee College today, going 6 from 7.
And that will be full-time, Nick, 47 of 14. Nudgee College, they've got to be happy with that. They get to add another 33 points to the for and against. So they're going to be, they've closed the gap there a bit on Southport.
But gee, it's come at some cost, money. Lots of cards, lots of disciplinary issues have been exposed in this Nudgee team, making next week it'll be a very difficult ask.
And because they've got that red in the form of Zach Rothers, who is going to be unavailable next week, that's going to be, I beg your pardon, Tom Ford, who got that red across there for Nudgee. That's going to be very costly for them, and they're going to have to really rethink the attack going into next week.
Some more scores coming in from across the grounds. We confirmed Brisbane Grammar School have upset Gregory Terrace 15 points to 14. BBC at the moment, we haven't got a full-time score, but they were down 21-10 at the half-time break. And Ipswich Grammar School ahead of Toowoomba Grammar final score 34-32, so a big upset there, up the range. And so we'll look at the stats from this game. The one that stands out to me, Marty, you can't knock the line breaks of Nudgee College 10-3, and that really tells the tale of the tape.
It does, and I think those line breaks, what they translated to, is a lot of the time those line breaks turned into tries. We saw the attacking defensive nudge of the back line especially, and even those loose backs in the form of Bullimore. Oh, hold on. Brisbane State higher up are down 21 points to 27 in the 67th minute against BBC. So you can catch that. That match is being live streamed as well right now, so you can jump across that one. But getting back to the game here, that their defence was just, they were on point all day, the Nudgee defence, and they were always probing, looking for the Churchy errors. And when they found them, more often than not, the players who were in charge of that, they regathered the ball quite well, and they usually went the distance, about 30 to 40 metres, and they would get the try. So that's why we didn't see that territory statistic being more skewed towards Nudgee. That when they got into that half on the back of those line breaks, they usually scored, and we were back to a halfway restart within the next minute or so.
Well, Rob, sorry, Marty, he calls you Rob. Too familiar there. I wonder if we can get the GPS ladder as of this morning up there, and we'll have a quick look at how the results from today have affected that table going forward. So Nudgee College move 2 points ahead. They'll be up 12 points atop the ladder.
And the thing is, if BBC can hold out State high, they're going to creep up, and they're still going to be in contention on a solid 8. But Gregory Terrace, that's a massive loss for them. They're they're going to be stalled in there at 6, and Churchy aren't going to move any higher. And it's going to be BGS, Brisbane Grammar and Ipswich Grammar. They're going to move up to 4, so we're going to have, you know, a 5-way tie on 4 points.
And so looking ahead to next week, a mouth-watering round of fixtures headlined by this absolute powerhouse clash between the Southport School down in the Gold Coast hosting St Joseph's Nudgee College.
And, you know, it's exciting to see that matchup happening in round 7. The commentator in me wants to see that matchup happen, you know, more round 9 when they're both atop the table. But what that means is, Nick, the victor of that game next week, that's going to be good. But then the following 2 games, that's what's going to be important. It's going to be about how well they can finish their season off, and they're going to have to make sure that they really do seal the envelope on their round 8 and 9 clashes.
So Nudgee College can afford to drop that round 8 game against Southport School because they are undefeated right now, provided they're able to beat Brisbane State High School in round 9. So that'll be a huge conclusion to what's been an absolute blockbuster season from Nudgee College. Looking across the fixtures from round 7, there's going to be some more cracking games. Churchy and BBC
the interesting
match
thing
up
is,
very well.
With Gregory Terrace and Toowoomba Grammar, obviously with Gregory Terrace having an upset loss day against Grammar, playing host to Toowoomba, you know, they're going to have to maybe, they're coming off a bit raw from today's clash. They're going to have to definitely go back to the grindstone this week, and that's the thing. Nudgee are going to have to go onto the grindstone. They've got one of their key players out of the mix. They're going to have to figure out how to fill that gap. BBC are narrowly going to get up on state high, and that's great for BBC. It means that they're going to stay in contention for the last 2-3 rounds of the year. So there's still a lot going on here. I think there's still a lot of rugby to be played.
Absolutely, and we're going to be committed to bring you even more of that rugby still to come in the Queensland GPS First 16 Rugby Competition. Double Take Live streaming across Facebook, our website, I'll need some help. doubletakelive.com/GPS rugby. You can find it there as well as on our Facebook page. I think that's all the plugging we have time for. We're being rushed off the stage. I've been Nick Darvaniza, joining me Marty Lippiott.
Thank you very much, Nick.
We got
been
the
a
band
pleasure.
back together for round 7, and hopefully we'll do the same for round 8.
I should be here.
We look forward to seeing you then. From Nudgee College's Ross Oval, good afternoon and best luck to the Wallabies tonight.